Moving into the anniversary, a bunch of people are downloading Raid for the first time, and one of the decisions you'll face when you start this game is which rare hero you begin your adventures with. So I'm going to give an overview of these 4 units to help players make the best starting decision. And speaking of making the best decision as a new player, you really want to use my special promo code. It's linked for you in the description of this video, or you can scan that QR code right up there. If you are playing Raid and you did not use this link, you need to stop. Just uninstall and reinstall the game and use this link. It will give you the best start for 2025. With this code, you will get for free the legendary hero Elhain, a statuesque high elf who applies HP burns and not only applies but can detonate poisons, allowing you to do sick damage. In addition to this, at level 15, you will get for free, the epic hero Rector Drath. Rector Drath is one of the strongest epic healers in the game who can also raise your fallen heroes from the dead. She is so strong, in fact, many people believe her to be a legendary hero in epic heroes clothing. Now, once you do all that and get yourself back to the lobby screen, I want you to slide over here and go into promo codes and type in Supreme 6. Now, a lot of people are going to tell you about Monkey King. Monkey King will get you Sun Wukong, who is a very, very strong unit. But let me tell you, if you use Supreme 6, you will get Supreme Galek, who is a crazy powerful unit. If I could go back and change it, I would ditch the Monkey King and pick up Supreme Galek. He is a void unit, so he's got no affinity weaknesses, and he's got an AoE HP burn, which is one of the stronger debuffs to put, especially when you're bossing. Just a super, super powerful hero. Pick up your Supreme Galek and get started in the game. That's 2 legendary heroes and 1 epic hero who is a legendary in epic clothing right out of the gate. So make sure you download that link or scan that QR code and get your journey started off the best way possible. Now, once you have the game installed, you'll be faced with your first tough decision. Who will be your rare starting hero? The 4 options you're going to get are Kael, Galek, Athel, and Elhain. So let's go over and look at Kael first. Kael is a dark elf, rare hero. Here we go. Kael is, in my opinion, the best option to start out with. But there are some who are pretty close, and we'll talk about all 4 of them at length here, but Kael has a single target hit on his A1 skill, which at first blush seems not as good as, say, Athel or Elhain, but he does have a 100% chance to place a poison debuff on the enemy for 2 turns. Now, it's the weaker poison, 2.5%, but still, it's a poison hit on his A1 skill, and once skilled up, it's a 100% chance to proc, and poison is so important for racking up big damage. His A2 skill is an AoE hit that targets all enemies, and that is solid. It's only on a 3-turn cooldown, and it fills the turn meter of this champion, making it easier for him to take more turns and cycle this skill. But his A3 skill, this is where the magic is. He attacks 4 times, placing the big poison, a 5% poison, again at 100% chance proc rate once he's skilled up. Now, Kael is really good at clearing normal dungeons, but the one place he really excels in is Clan Boss, and that's where his poisons will do the lion's share of the damage. In fact, you will find that his poisons do so much of his damage that you don't really need to focus on damage that much. You can focus on accuracy and just let his poisons do the work. Because of how powerful poisons are early on in this game and into the mid game, Kael is my recommendation for your starting unit, but he's not the only choice. Let's take a look at the other units. Okay, over to the Sacred Order, we find Athel in the rare heroes. Here. So Athel is considered by many to be one of the strongest starting heroes in the game, predominantly due to the power of her A1 skill Strike Down. This is her basic attack, and when it's fully skilled up, she has a triple hit skill with a 100% chance to place the big version of weakness debuff on the enemy. Now, what weakness does is it makes everyone on the enemy team, weaker, effectively increasing the damage that all of the allies on your team do to a weakened unit by 25%. So this empowers your other team members, making them 25% stronger. This skill alone is one of, if not the strongest A1 skill on any rare champion in the entire game. Against bosses, this skill is so strong that Athel alone may take you further into the mid-game of raid than even Kael. In addition to bossing, she's very good in campaigns. She has an AoE skill on her A2 and an AoE skill on her A3. But what I want you to notice is this is a 3-turn skill. And if you look at her A3 skill has an extra turn built into it. That means that you can cycle her like this. You do your AoE skill, then you can do her A3 for an extra turn, then you can come back for weakness on the enemy, and now you're ready to go right back into your AoE skill. It lets her cycle so quickly. In addition, she packs her own buffs with a 25% attack buff and a 30% increased defense on herself for extra damage and extra tankiness. All around, a powerhouse hero who is great for fast, consistent clearing. I know I'm glazing her up pretty heavily here, guys, but I do still think, pound for pound, I like Kael just a little bit better. Poison is so OP for getting really, really high points on clan boss, and I can't tell you how important clan boss is. Make sure you get into a clan early on and start farming clan boss, because that drops some of the hardest to get and most important resources in the game. Now let's go talk about Elhain. So Elhain is a high elf, and she is basically just a nuker, right? There's nothing super fancy about her kit, but what's great about Elhain is she has multiple AoE attacks, making her great for clearing campaign, leveling your units, grinding for gear. It gives her some usefulness in the spider dungeon. Like in terms of clearing wave content, she is the strongest of the starter units, because her A2 is an AoE skill, and her A3 is also an AoE skill that hits twice, and her A1 skill attacks an enemy, and if it crits, it places an extra hit. So she is loaded with attacks. And one of the nice things about Elhain is she doesn't debuff anybody. I mean, you're probably thinking, why is that nice? Well, the reason that's nice is it means she doesn't require any accuracy stat at all. You can just build her straight up damage, attack, crit chance, crit damage, and just make her a nuker. So she's unique among the starting units for not needing accuracy and being a little bit easier to build, where you can just focus on damage and crit. And last on the list is going to be Galek. Galek is an orc. Right here he is. The thing about Galek is he hits hard. He is all about damage. He is the strongest hitting of the starting units. His A1 skill just attacks one enemy 2 times. That's it. No debuffs, no extra hits, just hits one enemy twice and does tremendous damage. All of his skill ups are just more damage. His A2 skill does attack all enemies and hits harder than any of the other starting units' A2 skills, and he gives himself a 30% speed buff, which is nice, because like the other heroes, he does have a 3-turn cooldown on this skill, but when we get to his A3 skill, this is where problems start to roll in. So his A3 skill, Cursed Blade, attacks the enemy 4 times. Now, one of the immediate things that jumps out at me with this skill that's a problem is it says it attacks 4 times at random. That's not an AoE. That's 4 single target attacks at random. He could attack all 4 enemies. He could attack one enemy twice and another enemy twice. If there's 5 or more enemy on the screen, he's going to miss some of them. And also, this skill is on a 5-turn cooldown. That is a long hecking cooldown for a skill that doesn't have any speed manipulation or extra turns to wear the cooldown or cooldown reductions. You're kind of relying on his A2 skill, the speed buff, to help cycle him a little bit faster. But it's going to feel like this skill is few and far between. And what this skill does is it is a 30% chance, 40% once you skill it up, a 40% chance to place a 30% defense break on the enemy, right? Dropping their defense by 30%. That's really strong. That's going to let your entire team hit a lot harder, but it's just 4 hits with a 30% chance on each hit. And if it hits the same unit twice and you place the defense break the first time, there you go. And it has a 30%, again 40% with skill, but placing a 60% defense break for 2 turns if the target already has more than 2 debuffs. So you'll need to run him with another unit that debuffs in order to get this big defense break, and try to tune him into your team where he is going not first, he's going slower, so he gets a chance to apply this, but he's not going so slow that it doesn't feel terrible cycling the skill. And he is a nuking damage dealer. He is all about the damage, but you're going to have to force some accuracy onto him to be able to place these debuffs. It's very clunky, and it makes him feel kind of unwieldy. So he's my least favorite of the 4 starting units. Now, with a little bit of team comp building and speed tuning and gearing, thinking on synergy, you can probably do some great things with Galek. And man, he does hit like a freaking truck. But I think of the 4, he is the weakest starting hero by a long shot. So my favorite right now is Kael by a slim margin, just because of how OP Poison is. You can't get away from how OP Poison is. With Athel being a very, very close second. Athel, just for clearing content. Like if you're working on grinding repeatable content, nobody is faster than Athel. She will let you grind dungeons super fast and also really help you with bossing. And Elhain is nice for wave control. You'll be able to take her into Spider. You'll be able to go through the campaign a lot faster. Anything where wave content with multiple units is coming at you, Elhain is amazing. And then Galek, who is going to require the support of several other units to really make him shine, but can drop some serious damage as well. Now, regardless of who you pick, you want to make sure that your starting rare 3-star hero is the first one you level up. So I'm still working on collecting the fodder that I need, but I ascended my Kael first to unlock all of his stats. I dumped all of my skill books that I had because the rare skill books are the easiest ones to get, right? Don't make the mistake of taking one of the legendary heroes that you got from my download code or from one of the in-game promo codes and trying to take these to level 60, because you're going to find that these legendary skill tomes are few and far between, and you're going to feel really pressured to spend. Whereas the rare skill tomes you will get right out of the gate, so it's so much easier to make your first level 60 hero one of these rare heroes so that you can max it out. You can get the skills all the way leveled up, so you get all of the power, all of the control out of your skills, and with that you'll be able to farm easier, grind your chickens. That's what we call fodder in this game. Grind your chickens so you can use them to level up other units to level 60, and things will roll in a lot faster. I know it feels weird starting with the rare heroes when you've got all of these legendaries at the start, but trust me, you'll be glad you did. You'll be glad you upgraded your Kael or your Athel or whoever your starter hero is first, so that they can carry you through the early game to grind the resources that you need to be able to upgrade the higher end heroes. So let me know in the comments section, who did you pick? Who was your starting hero? Do you have regrets, or are you thrilled with it? Do you agree or disagree with what I have to say? And please, please, please make sure you use the download code in the description of the video to start this game, or scan the QR code in the corner of my screen. That will work too. You really want to get this fresh start with Elendriel, with Rector Drath, and using the promo code to pick up your Supreme Galek. It will give you such a powerhouse start. You are going to be grinding this game for months just to use these characters and have such a leg up over other starting players who made the mistake of not using this promo code. And if you're one of those people, who has downloaded this game and didn't use my promo code, just uninstall and reinstall. A couple of days you've played aren't worth it. You'll be so much happier that you started with all of these legendary and epic heroes. It's a wonderful start to the anniversary month. Welcome to Raid Shadow Legends. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Take care, everybody.